Hi, my name is Joe Jackson. I'm an interviewer and an author and a journalist and a broadcaster. And what you're about to hear is one of the roughly 1,400 interviews I conducted over more than 30 years for nearly all major media outlets in Ireland, and in this case, some in England. But please allow for the fact that many of the interviews were done for the print media and recorded on cassette tapes. So some are, let's say, sonically challenged. But sonic consideration should give way to historical significance, I believe. And I'm glad to say that at least some powers that be in RTE Radio 1 agreed with me on this and broadcast between the years 2015 and 2018 many of my interviews in a series called The Joe Jackson Tapes Revisited. What follows is a programme I was going to broadcast in that series but never did. Actually, it's a tape I made for an article for the Daily Mail in the UK, and it was basically introducing the Corrs to a British audience. It's not one of my usual in-depth interviews, but in fact during this chat with all members of the Corrs, I do refer to the fact that I had twice interviewed Andrea before. First for the Irish Times and secondly for Hot Press. Both of those interviews I will be revisiting for a future podcast. And by the way, if you want to read the original articles, you can read them at joejacksoninterviewer.com. Either way, enjoy this podcast.
Oh, well, it's basically whenever we're finished, we go, so.
Okay, all right. Let me get a half hour on tape.
Okay.
Introduce yourselves and describe yourself in 75 words. I'm starting here.
75 words!
75 words.
I'm Caroline.
Yeah. Do you want to give an age?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Alright.
You know.
Snappy self-description. Confident, come on.
Confident. God.
You can come back to it. Look, the others are getting it ready because they've had one.
Yes. We're all best at describing each other.
I would prefer if someone described me rather than me describe myself because I haven't got a clue.
Have you not?
No, not really.
Okay, Jim. Describe.
Well, I'm Jim. I would describe her.
Yeah.
Describe Caroline.
Yeah.
Don't say grumpy.
Caroline's perfectionist. She's once she puts her mind down to something, she's very focused. And you know, whether it's table tennis or drums or piano, she will give it a degree of focus that I think is incredible until she masters whatever it is she's trying to master.
All right. Okay. Was that rehearsed?
No.
That's great. Okay, Caroline, describe him.
That was very positive.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Jim loves things with buttons and things that he can mess around with, and musical equipment like computers and what else?
Is that technologically challenged now?
He likes phones.
Well, I saw that.
Sign organisers, phones, everything that has that is technology.
And is that any use in relation to the music? Because
this is fantastic.
No, not that. I mean, your obsession with technology. You're going to take it out and show it to me. We put a picture in the article of your phone. Okay. Okay, no, but just that interest in technology and that, how does that help shape the music we all hear?
Well, very much so. It's always been a great interest of mine to have. You know, I would always try and use varying different types of tools when it comes to the whole creation of music.
All right.
So, like, I love samplers. I love using computers. It's just they bring, even though there are disadvantages, they certainly bring a whole. It is a different tool. It's like you know, and it's in the right hands. They can be fantastic tools.
And would all the rest have no problems with samplers and that? Remembering you come from the kind of Irish base too. Would you feel any tension about?
Yeah, I mean we'd like to try to keep technology to minimums in the band because we're very obviously capable of producing songs without it. I mean, it's something that I think enhances what is always used on albums. It's great for albums, and I think that's when Jim gets to do most of his work, like on the albums and stuff like that, programming and things like that. And then also then on stage, you use keyboards and stuff like that, and some enhancements. But I think we do like to keep it down to just raw music more so than.
More so in a live context.
Yeah, live
context.
Studio works.
Stay true to the roots.
Yeah. Well, it's more. It has more expression. If you use too much technology, it tends to lack expression.
All right.
Whereas if you can do it, why not just do it yourself?
Do you ever argue over that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well, there you go.
I think
There's
there's
your
both
answer.
sides to it, though. You know,
Alright.
I mean, there's like technology is so prevalent today. I mean, it has to be there. But when it comes to a song and writing a song, if it can stand up purely on a guitar or on a natural musical instrument like a piano and a vocal, and if it can stand up like that and move you, well, then it's done. After that, technology comes into it.
Alright.
You know, but as a basis for writing and stuff like that, I mean, that's a fun side of it and embellishment and putting it together. But really, when it starts, it's elemental. You know.
Okay.
So I don't think there's anything to argue over
Alright.
because it's technology and we of course use that.
Yeah.
But it's not a
But if you feel a song
technological
going
barrier.
too far, if you feel the production of something has gone too far in the direction of technology, you might draw back. Yeah? No?
Yeah.
Well,
Is there a case even? Could you even give me an example? A particular song that was going in a certain direction and you said, no, let's strip this back.
well, that has certainly happened, but you know, it's always in retrospect that you think, God, why did we put so much in on that?
Alright.
You know, but often that's not that wouldn't be just down to our
Okay,
faults in a sense. That would be the producer.
Producer at
Alright.
the time.
You
You
know.
know, sometimes you might look back on a song and go, "What is that?"
Like
song
for
with the cowbell or
example,
something,
like what can I do? We tried to we loved it. Then we said let's try it, you know, to make it more just like guitar based whatever, and it didn't work. It wasn't as good a
Alright.
song.
Alright.
So I mean because the way the song was written, the basis of it, Jim had written on keyboards using keyboard sounds or whatever.
It's
I mean,
programmed,
and the
it's-
song is suited to that. That's the way the song was.
yeah.
That's how the song came about.
We used a sample drum loop on that and sequenced bass, and it's a sample bass, so
Alright.
it's all electronic. When we tried to reproduce that live, as Sharon says, it just with live drums and with bass, it just
wasn't.
didn't work
Didn't
in the
work.
studio.
In
Okay.
the studio.
And it's funny, it's because like when we started as well, like when we started writing and everything like that, we did that on a level of not having toured the world, so not having had the whole feel of being on stage. So we were closer to technology then, and we were
Alright.
excited by not such a three-dimensional sound. But then once you get on stage or whatever and tour, after doing Forgiven Not Forgotten for a year and a half, like getting on the road, then it was different. Then you started to go, I just want to hear it with guitar and this, you know, I don't want
Right.
to hear that,
Right.
all that stuff. So we started off probably more into that kind of thing, but I think music will always come back to the basics
Alright.
all the time.
Sharon, Jim, describe each other. Go back to that first question. Give them the. I don't want to stop me from getting too deep into music, or they'll throw this article.
Oh
back at
right, okay.
me. You know what I mean? So describe each other, just as people too, as well as musicians. Jim, did you describe? Who described who? You. Who described who?
Karen
Yeah,
described
yeah,
me,
yeah.
didn't she?
Okay.
Sure, no, Andrew, you described.
Yeah.
Sharon.
Describe Sharon.
It's going to be great fun working out the voices on the tape too. How do people do this? Give me the sound bites.
I don't. Yeah,
Well,
we
Jim
Yeah, how do you do it?
Jim sounds a bit lower, so I'll
Just
give you
a-
that tip.
Thank you, that's great.
Okay.
Okay, I'll work that. And he wears the glasses, I can see that on okay.
Yeah, other than that, we're the same clothes.
Right, great, okay. Sharon,
Uh,
describe Andrea and Andrea describe Sharon. Now remember also your sisters.
Yeah. She's very funny. What? She's very funny.
I didn't get the hand gesture. The
I
tape-
didn't get it either. I
I'm
hope
trying
I
to
didn't.
comment. I think I did. But
Oh God, you probably did.
She's very funny. She loves shopping with a passion, although she didn't have a good day yesterday. But she does love shopping. But she's like the biggest shopper in the family. There's no doubt about that.
all right.
What do I say? She loves fantasy. You love fantasy and dreams and all that sort of thing. You know, I suppose that's probably why she writes most of the lyrics, because she's
All right.
good imagination. And the only, I suppose, negative, which is not really negative, is that, which I'm turning around starting to do now actually, but she loses absolutely everything. We'll be walking through airports and you discover a handbag in the middle of the floor somewhere, or security would be coming after in America going, is this your Walkman? They're about to blow it up, you know. So she, you know, that's one other little
Do any of you have any problem with the focus on Andrea, as in that bastard magazine and our top press? Do you? Is there any, or because and Andrea writing the lyrics, has anything evolved over the couple of years where you've seen Andrea be hauled out? And does that really
Obviously,
matter?
the focus is going to be on Andrea more to an extent because
Well,
she's a lead singer.
Okay.
But you know, collectively, I suppose we prefer if we're portrayed as a band because that's
Alright.
what we are, and we're four
Alright.
individuals as well. You know, so it's like in general we would, you know, prefer the focus to remain as much
So
as
you
on
try
the
to
4
maintain
people
that
as we
balance.
can.
But
We're trying to.
You can't
Okay.
really. I mean, you two. I mean, when you think about U2, you think about a 4-piece
Yeah.
band. You don't think
Yeah.
about one person.
Very rarely
I
see
think-
individual.
You know, I
Things
think
in
that there's always going to be. That's natural for the focus to be on the singer because of the front person. And
Right,
the person jumping
right.
is always the front person. But I think as a band, yes, the reason we're all in this together. So therefore, you know, you want to remain as a band sort of thing.
All right.
As
We're
much
a
as
team,
possible,
I mean,
team,
yeah.
you know. So, but you know, I mean, half the time I don't really mind either way, you know.
All right. Okay, Jim. You don't mind most of the time, or some of the time?
Well, that's what I said. Obviously, the
Right.
focus is going to be
On the
more
band.
on the lead
Alright,
singer. But I prefer if we were portrayed as a band.
But isn't it also, not just in relation to the media, fans identify with one person? They identify with a band to a degree, but they pick the person they can most identify
That's
with.
very true. Yeah.
You know, so do you find that happening in an equal way, or, you know,
Well, I mean,
do
like
the
even
fans
just
tune in at that level?
they all have their own favourites.
Alright.
Like you'll be walking past and someone will go, "There's my favourite," and it'll be Caroline, or it'll be, "Oh, you're the drummer," or it'll be, you know, this sort of thing. I mean, yeah, the lead singer would probably have more, but that's always the way it has been. I mean, you know, John Bon Jovi when he was with Bon Jovi was like,
Alright.
you know, it's always been that sort of way. But I think the only reason there would be a problem in a band is that if everybody wasn't contributing to the band, you know, I mean, we all write the music and we all do everything. So, I mean, I think it would show a serious lack of confidence in yourself and your abilities if you did have a problem with that, because it's a very
Okay.
natural process, you know.
All right. Andrea, you're allowed to talk now. Describe Sharon.
I completely agree.
On that point.
Yeah, I mean, you see, the thing is that everybody's secure in their own roles. Caroline doesn't want to be a lead singer. Jim doesn't want to be a lead singer. Neither does Sean.
People assume that you do.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
So
yeah.
there's a security about being in your own role, and there's problems that everybody has within their role. I mean, do you know what I mean? Or whatever like that. And like being out in the front isn't like, hey, you know, oh, Kushti, people are looking. It's like an awful lot of work to do.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And to be that. But I think that a lead singer has a role to play, and you just can't. If you denied that, then you wouldn't be a band.
But when you're out front, and I think you said, Jim, in the earlier Hot Press interview, the fact that you are a family, if things are going wrong in the record industry, or people are ganging up on you with that, you have that support system.
We do.
You know what I mean?
not
Which must be important. As I would assume you're all friends. Can I use the word?
Oh, of course we are. Most of the
No,
time.
not of course we are.
Most
You
of
know, not of course we are. It doesn't not
Yeah.
necessarily follow. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily in families either.
Yeah,
I mean, you
absolutely.
see family feuds all over the
Yeah.
place. I mean, we do get on
The
very,
famous rock
very,
and roll
very
one is the
well.
Kinks. Two
Yeah, I
brothers
mean,
who despised each other
Yeah.
Yeah.
and tore the band apart.
Different hotel rooms,
Absolutely.
different hotel
Same
floors,
with
if
the,
not
the Beach
different hotels.
Boys. I had visited the Beach Boys and they went in 5 different cars away from the auditorium, and they came onto the stage from different ways.
But even
You know what I
you
mean?
two will do that to an extent as well. I understand that completely.
Well, some of it is have separate lives.
You get even 10 minutes apart from each other when you're working like a 14-hour day,
Alright.
7 days a week apart from each other it's very healthy to do that, you know.
Alright.
And you can get on fantastic with each other, and we're lucky that we get on very well most of the time. But you still need your space.
I mean, claustrophobia will make anybody fight. There's no doubt about that.
All right. Is that a pressure though? And you are working, it seems to me, endlessly.
Yeah,
We
Yeah,
are, and
yeah.
it is a pressure. I mean, it would be fools to say, or downright liars to say it isn't. It is a pressure. I mean, because like today we've already done a TV show, a photo shoot, another interview, and you know, I mean, it is a lot of work. And then when you stick 4 people together doing it all the time, they're bound to get in each other's nerves.
Do any of you ever lose spirit? You know, does it ever feel like this is too much? This is too much work.
If it does, it generally is too much.
I think that it's a sense of that. The only sense you can get of the whole thing is when you get the rewards, when you see
Right.
something actually working. But if you're in a territory and you feel it's not working, that can be terrible.
Alright.
Or if you're reaching Christmas time at the end of a tour, that can be very hard because you run out of steam. And your body just runs out of
Sure.
steam. And it's a very nice thing. But then you get it back and you go and do the new album and it's like we came back with the new album going, you know.
Can't wait to get out and promote it.
Can't wait to go out.
Right.
So it's like, different facets.
When it's
Things like that recharge you.
Yeah.
When it's spirit, it's like a physical thing. It's literally your brain and your everything like that and your excitement. It's not winning. It's physically your body is tired. I mean, Today we're going back in the car. I mean, it's 3:30 in the day, and we did have a kind of day off yesterday, but we're all sleeping in the car. I mean, do you know what I mean? There's, like you said, that there's no reason for this. Yes, there is a reason for this. You're touring, you're on tour, and so you're tired.
Right.
So losing spirit is generally down to a physical draining of the body, you know.
And is this is it understood that there'll be a two-year kind of working period where the rewards and all that will not be as high as will happen later? Is that
that's generally all.
you know what I mean? That's the way it is. You work this hard to what was invested in the band to begin with,
Like,
pay off debts.
Exactly, it's like building a house.
You know,
we
isn't
were
it?
laying
When
the
people don't see that,
foundations.
they think the minute you have high sales on a single or an album, it's all glam, it's all riches, it's all everything. That's not the case.
No, I mean we're only really trying to, you know, receiving anything from the first album now.
All
We're
right.
only just sort of getting there. I mean, we've still got so much further to go.
Yeah. And what about the idea of when you said new territories? Like England is basically a new territory.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel? You know, when you go from you can't walk down the streets in Ireland, or what other European countries are very.
Yeah, I mean, we just came from Spain and we were mobbed
really
in
big in
Spain.
Spain?
It's like we're absolutely massive in Spain, and you know, to the point of people crying when they come up to us and all this sort of thing, which is freaky. And then we came from a place like Germany where we're not known at all. You know.
So how does that feel? How do you make that transition? Or do you come to England and say, when you're getting good breaks here over the next
It makes
days,
it all the more enjoyable when you go to the likes of Spain or back to Ireland
Right.
or to Australia or to America or to wherever else we are very known, because there is that contrast. Makes you enjoy it all the more.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's got to be accepted in this
But
business.
you are shifting from A to B,
You know,
aren't
you go from one territory where you're just working every day, and then you hit Spain and you walk out of your hotel and there's this kid coming towards you at, high full speed and just grabbing onto you, and it actually throws you a second, and you go, God, I wasn't expecting that, or I wasn't. If you're geared up for something all the time, if you're geared up for fans, you know how to cope.
Right.
With that.
Oh, yeah, but when you're shifting from A to
When
B.
you're shifting, because I definitely, when I came out of the hotel and this kid came onto it, I definitely I know you did as well, got a kind of a
All right. What a fright.
fright, yeah, it's kind of a fright, because they're stronger than they let on, I'll tell you.
And what about when you go back to Dundalk or Dublin? What's the attitude among friends
Cool.
as opposed to cool or cruel?
Cool. Really
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it? You know, we have to define
Friends.
cool. Oh,
So
are
I
they?
mean, cool. Yeah, I mean, as in they're.
Distance.
It's just
No.
Oh, cool, okay.
no. I mean,
cool,
cool.
okay.
As
Cool
in
as
cool.
in
as
American,
in
Okay,
boss.
okay.
Just-
I'm in London, I'm disorientated. It's all right.
I mean, just as in dead on. I mean,
Oh, is
we
it?
don't- Yeah.
Do you all
Absolutely
find the
dead
same? Do you all have the same friends? No.
I certainly, I can speak for myself. I make a big effort to try and maintain the friendships that
All right.
I've had over the years. And when I come back,
We don't
for
bother.
me, it's like a sanctuary in a sense. Come back
Okay.
to Dundalk, because it's a complete escape. It's not that I need to escape, but it's a place where I can go back and just be completely numb, be myself, just walk down the street, go to
All right.
go to different pubs at night, and just
And no flat.
none at all.
No.
I mean,
All
just people coming up and congratulations and everything, and where are you next, and then nothing but pride.
Right.
Nothing but pride.
It's the same
And
in
no,
Dublin,
no
is it?
begrudgingly, which is incredible, which we're surprised about. We're not
That's
getting
what I
any
thought there
begrudgingly.
might be. No? What about there's only one question about the famous looks, and the male want to know. What about feelings when you were younger, even at that level, like jealousy among friends, tensions when you were working, or even now? Do you get bitchiness from women?
Most of my friends are male.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is that why?
I don't know if that's subconscious or whatever like that. I think most of our, friends are I have male friends, but no, I've never really experienced
Have you
that.
never
Maybe-
experienced that? Did you all work in a bar together, or
Yeah.
was I misled?
No,
No,
So
we
the guys
did.
used to come in
We
and
worked in a rancher's bar.
and they used to have arguments as to who was the most attractive, and you always won. That's that idea. But was it never at a human level like that? Was there not kind of girls saying, "Look at those three together," or
I'm sure they did behind our back.
yeah,
Maybe.
you know,
I don't
they
know.
almost. And you don't encounter that at any level now, no?
Well, we're rarely really with it. The only other people that we're really with nowadays is the likes of you,
All right.
each other, and record company, and then production and crew.
Okay.
So
Cocoon.
as you can imagine,
Cocoon.
we're not really in an environment where somebody
Alright.
can be, I suppose, directly
Chip away at that
bitchy
level.
or a chip on their shoulder type of thing. I mean, when you're at school, like Girls always do that at school, or boys even do it. I mean, that's a normal thing at
But
school.
not when there's a family that has been so blessed.
Well, when we were younger, then at the same time, when we were younger, we weren't hanging around together all the time.
Alright.
We were doing our own thing. But now, as we're older, we're in this. This is a different kind of entity now. Corrs is a different thing. When we separate,
I
when we
think
get
also
home,
there's a thing about how you present yourself as well. You know, I mean,
Even to
if
friends.
somebody goes, well, you present yourself exactly as you are. That's what I'm saying. And, you know, if you went round thinking you were wonderful, which none of us do, do you know what I mean? Well,
They'd
then
have
maybe
every right
that
to
would
chip you
lead to
down.
that would lead to a strange attitude coming back. But that hasn't happened. You know what I mean? And so I think that we get a similar response from people as we give to people.
All right.
You know, so I don't. Once people get to know you, they see it as real. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. And the male wants to know your parents beautiful.
Yeah.
And I said, how did I guess that was going to be the answer? Are they? But on all levels. I mean, I met them fleetingly. Didn't you introduce me to that now at the Irma Awards? How central is their role in relation to what you're doing? In terms of the musical influence, the backing they give you, the emotional support they give you now. Is it a big factor, minimal, or what?
Originally, there was, I think, when we first started out, because a lot of the time we were still at home, my parents have always been very encouraged, given us a lot of encouragement musically.
Sorry, that's me.
Fuck bloody phone.
Oh, it doesn't ring. It's one of those ones. Just the post.
Silent, yeah,
Oh,
it's
get
in
out of here.
Every time, you know, now I lost.
No, you said they were.
Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
It's
They
about
were-
mum and daddy.
Yeah, that they were supportive from the beginning.
Yeah, they always
But did they dictate this, or did they say you have to go into music?
No way. See, this is the
I got out of the
thing about
attic
it.
4 years after I was beaten and told we had to do this. I mean, it was only 4 years of
Yeah.
torture.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
It
fine.
wasn't
Wow.
like that. I mean, this came together. I mean, this is something that happened out of. We thought about it and we auditioned for the equipments and we met John, our manager,
Yeah.
and then it made sense. It just made
But
sense.
before that, had you thought of it as
Before that, we were always playing music.
just together in a
Not
social?
together.
I don't think I quite
Okay.
understood at the time. I think it was Andrew was 16, I was 17. We were the youngest. That's why I'm picking us two out. But we were
15 and
we were in a band. Like, I mean, people said to me, "Well, what do you do, Karen? Well, what are you going to do when you get out of school?" "Well, I'm going to be in a band." Now I know people were looking at me going, "Yeah, right, okay, sure. What is she talking about?" And you know, and an awful lot of people were thinking, "God, do our parents actually let her go out and do that sort of thing?"
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was something, for some unknown reason, that we thought that we were definitely destined to do.
You two together.
No, all of us. We
Yeah.
all felt in some way that we were kind of going to do this for some. It's not something that people think about doing, you know. It's a family band. It's something that felt
Right.
that it was going to happen.
No, but you often get, particularly in Ireland, you get teachers, career guidance, parents saying there's no future in it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The opposite.
Yes.
And I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Dolores O'Riordan saying she'd love to go back to the teacher who told her, "Would you not become a nurse or something sensible?" And say, "You know, I now earn more and I'm happier doing what I do. Don't be telling kids they can't do it."
There's
Yeah.
no
You know what I
point.
mean?
There's
They
no
wanna
point.
go for it.
I think like education-wise and everything like that, it's moving more towards go where your talents lie, because there aren't so
Alright.
many jobs. And I
That's
wouldn't
true.
blame the person who said that to Dolores O'Riordan, because it is a fickle and a hard
It's
business
a
to get into.
99% failure
Somebody
rate.
who would say that is
Pretty
only
good
giving you
advice.
advice for the advice for the
advice.
good of
Yeah.
Pretty
you.
good advice from a teacher or from somewhere like that. It really is.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that totally. I would always encourage kids to go for where their dreams are and where their talents lie. You know,
Absolutely.
because I believe that.
But if I think the thing is, if you identify where their talents are, they have to have the talent rather than just the dream.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's,
That's
exactly
there, yeah.
that's the point there. I mean, it's not
You'll only
that.
lead to heartbreak if they don't.
Yeah.
What?
You'll only lead to heartbreak if they
Yeah.
don't.
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it happens too often where, you know, potential careers in kids can be completely stopped
All right.
due to something that a parent might say or a teacher might say, you know, and it's just, I think that it should be left up to the kid and it should be just gently encouraged to go wherever they want to go.
And are your parents still as supportive now? Or
They're
are
probably
they?
our biggest fans.
Are they?
Yeah, they're great. I mean, unfortunately for them, they don't see the day and days things that we do anymore. I mean, they don't, like, you know, we're off doing TV shows everywhere. They're obviously not going to see
All right,
what we do.
all right.
But we're trying to get to Metro Australia for our tour in Australia.
Okay.
You know,
When's this going out though? It's a Christmas present.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't mention that.
Don't mention that. Okay.
Yeah, just don't mention that. There's a Christmas
Okay.
present.
Don't mention about the Christmas
Yeah.
presents, sure.
Really the surprise from the
Really surprising.
exclusive. Parents' present.
Okay, so and
Something.
at a musical level, did you all go in separate directions too? And were the parents' influences, you know, a factor?
Well, I mean, Dad started us off with piano. He taught us all piano,
All
and
right.
then I
Pop, playing pop.
no, it was
Classical?
classical.
All right.
Classical.
And then I was taught the violin by a local priest and was in orchestras, and you know, and Jim picked up the guitar himself and keyboards, and you know, I mean that's kind of the way it worked out. We were doing it quite
Right.
separately, and then when we auditioned for the Commitments, that was the first time we got on stage together as a band. You know, we thought about it, and then when we did it, we thought, yeah, let's go for this, and let's start writing and recording music.
And you all share the same tastes in music.
Pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty similar, although we'd have different albums
Pretty
that we
close,
might
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
That would be different.
Like who would be the common acts?
The comment that we
Yeah,
wrote.
you'd listen to.
Let me see. The Police, Sting, I think we all liked. Who else?
And you-
Scritti Politti.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Scritti Politti.
No,
I think
I'm
we all
joking.
liked.
I know, Anthrax.
And
I'm
then
not taking
earlier
anything
stuff,
you're
I mean,
saying.
That's all old stuff. That's
Stuff
all
that,
old
yeah,
stuff
what
that our
about- yeah.
parents were sort of were playing themselves at night, and we heard them
Simon
rehearsing during the
Garfunkel.
day, like Simon Garfunkel, like ABBA and Karen Carpenter, stuff like that a way back.
Right.
But now it's like Oasis, Crowded House, Sharon's particularly into them, and has got, I suppose, the rest of us
Alright.
have got into Crowded House because of Sharon. And who else?
Radiohead.
Radiohead are great,
Great
yeah.
band.
And like some
Tom
of
Petty.
Verve's new stuff, that's great. It's really good.
Tom Petty's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like if one of us like it, we're bound to like it. We've got that's
Yeah.
probably why we gel so well musically, is because we've got the same kind of, we home in on the same kind of, oh, that's great, you know.
And you all completely happy, like you said to me in the interview, that you feel the second album is that you've grown, evolved further.
Mhm.
Do you all feel that about the new work?
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
it better represents who you are now?
I do, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do as well.
Very much so.
Yeah.
We're very happy with it because as you kind of, you know, from all that touring, you obviously got better on your instruments and better on knowing how well a song stands up. You know, you just got better at what you do. And with this album, I know for me, definitely, I felt that I was expressed a lot more in it and was an awful lot more confident with my own skills and what I'm capable of doing on this album. Whereas the first one, I was a bit more timid because it was like a bit more huge, big producer and you're straight out of Dundalk and it was like intimidating, you know. But this time you just walked into the studio, you improvised, you come up with your stuff, that was it, you know, and it was like no big major, you know, brainstorming. It was, you did it, you know.
They haven't read the Hot Press interview, what you said about them all coming out of themselves in every sense
That's
physically.
exactly what it is. Yeah, and I was saying that everybody from being on stage learn to, you know, express themselves and go for it, and without
Yeah.
losing self-consciousness and shyness within a family context.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes, I mean, one other difficult thing I suppose about family is, no matter if you had now your family sitting watching you interviewing us,
Oh, yeah.
how would you feel?
Oh no, you.
That's
you
exactly what I was
articulated
saying.
this
We're
to us.
like,
And they ran it in the interview. There
How
was a
would
great
you
line, and
feel?
people didn't believe you. You know the part where you said you wrote in the, you said the silly lyric, "Make love to me all night," and your mother's looking
in
at you.
Runaway.
Yeah, and
Singing
your
that
mother's
to
looking
Mammy.
at you, and she's saying, "Where did you learn that?" And you said, "From TV, Mammy."
Yeah.
So right.
Yeah.
And that kind of restriction, I can't, and you also can't disclose. So you have to say it's all fantasy. It's a dream. I'm taking a romantic idea and pushing it. No, look
But
at
it's
me.
also
I was
very-
out of
I
town.
was
I was
there.
out of town.
Yeah, but she did it. Yeah.
It's also
She did.
very
All right.
private as well.
Well, yeah.
And the thing is, like, even when you're like with your family and initially even just playing and come up with stuff, it's quite embarrassing to do things in front of your family. Now we treat each other like a band.
All right. Do
And
you?
I'm glad of the family.
Yeah.
But now we treat each other like you have to get off and do your job, I have to do mine,
Right.
Jim's doing his, Colin has to do hers. You know?
But how much? What about that question of self-disclosure? Because I mean, you're close, but you don't want each member in the family to know everything about you, or do you?
Absolutely
Does it
not,
not
no.
matter? I mean, do you not kind of?
I think it's really difficult to get away from. I think if you strive to consistently get away from your family, that's going to be the worst situation, because I think that no matter what, just from my speaking, yeah, I like to have my own life. We all want our own lives. But at the end of the day, how can you, if you're with them all, you can't get away.
All right.
There's only so much you can physically do to become a separate identity, you know? It's very, I think it's difficult.
You don't want to get, you don't want to get away, but that is how we do it now. Now it is like a band. Now it is, you know, there's a lack of embarrassment or self-consciousness because now you realise this is the person I am, like it or not, and each one of us is like this, rather than we don't have to be like each other. You are yourself, and if you go and express yourself in the violin, you do it and you play it. And I'm not. You shouldn't ever think, oh God, there's my sister looking over at me thinking I'm flaunting myself or something like that.
But did you ever feel that? Did you ever feel that? Look at your one over there. She's, I know when for hers and Corrs, and she's a back rub on. What's all this shit? Did you ever feel she looks stupid? I'm going to tell her afterwards. No.
No, you wouldn't do that.
Would you not?
No.
Even if you thought it.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that.
Would you not?
Well, I think that there's a big difference here. We're in an industry. We're in an industry that demands something special, and you have to bring that something special out of you. It would not probably be something normally that you would display within a family environment.
Yeah.
But Andrew being a lead singer, I mean, she'll drop to her knees on stage. I mean, could you see her doing it in the kitchen in front of the sink? Do you know what I mean? So you're still with a family, but you are doing things which are perfectly comfortable now, but you're doing things that are required for being in a band, you know. And they're an extension of yourself, you know.
And when it comes to the breakdown of the lyrics, I mean, you say Andrea writes a lot. I mean, what is the kind of, do you write kind of verse and chorus and you all come in together at the end or what?
No, I mean, if one of us writes the lyrics, they'll write the whole song.
Yeah.
That's generally, I mean, except on the first album.
Except for Runaway, like the Runaway, we kind of split them all, didn't we?
No, Melody more so.
Oh yeah, that was Melody.
But
oh yeah, that was Melody, yeah.
No, it depends. I mean, you know, Jim could write a whole song of lyrics, I could write a whole song of lyrics, any of us could.
Alright.
Andrew would write them definitely, like the majority of the lyrics, you know.
Do you want to say anything about any critics? Not just Ireland, anywhere? What's the worst criticism you've got?
You know right well.
I do indeed, yeah, but
I
you
think
know
that
you addressed it.
we did.
I'm not getting into that one.
I think
There's
we've
no
been
point
pretty
anyway.
much, you
You know
know.
what I mean?
There's no point.
Right.
There's no point in that, so I'm not bringing that up. But you know Andrea addressed it
Yeah.
and knocked it on the head, which I thought was great. It was edited down a bit. I don't know why.
It was good though, because
It was still strong. It said what you had to say. I thought so.
You must read this article.
No, it was good. No, the stuff you said about Ross, that's used his name to pain, and the Tribune was fabulous.
I wasn't even going to
No,
mention.
it's no. Well, not on this. Not on this. And I'm saying that too. Look, I know you thought that's what I was bringing up. No, but the worst criticism that you get, all told, you know, and the thing is, you know, is there a kind of criticism you meet in different countries, different, you know,
Oh.
that
I think
does
people,
get to you?
I think as a band,
Is it the focus on the looks? Is it the focus
yes,
on?
maybe
You know what I mean?
you have to assert credibility and play your instruments and stuff, which is no problem, which gives you a lot of experience. But you got to strip it down and play.
But
for
do you all
people
feel
the
that?
time.
Do you all feel we have to assert ourselves stronger as musicians because people are thinking we're only here?
I don't feel that because I actually enjoy the shock factor, which is people, you know, they look at you a certain way. I mean, let's say, you know, you look like a nerd. People would presume you're into computers or reading computer manuals all day long or whatever. Or you look a certain way, people presume things. It happens all the time. But something I really like about it is you get up in front of an audience that you've never been in front of before. They've never bought your albums. But they may have seen you or whatever, and they get up and they go, and you know that they're thinking, God, they can actually play.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I enjoy that because it's actually nearly, I mean, looks, people always say, you know, do you have a problem with the looks thing or whatever. I mean, it is an advantage, you know, it helps, visual helps, you know, it does help.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like grossly ugly or whatever way, like, you know, like with famous actors like maybe Jared Depardieu, he looks really odd, but boy does
Or
it
Keith
help.
in Prodigy.
You never forget him.
Yeah.
Keith's
Yeah.
looks help just the same way. Nobody ever mocks him.
But you
what's
don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, extreme beauty or extreme kind of.
It does. It's
caricature.
like a stamp,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a good thing because it's something that you remember. But as far as the music is concerned, I mean, we've always been doing it. We don't have anything to prove.
All right. You all don't feel that at the end you have anything to prove to anyone musically, Do you know?
Well, I think
No?
sometimes it was a bit. I think when you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we feel we've said anything improved
Yeah.
musically? No, I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, what we're setting out to do is, first of all, make ourselves happy through the songs that we're writing. If we like that, then hopefully that'll translate into, other people loving our songs.
All right.
That's all really that we want. That gives us such joy. For that
Haven't you
to happen.
already achieved that?
Yeah, it is only music after
You know
all
what I
as well.
mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the amount of people who have bought and are buying and are
But
coming
you
to
see,
see.
you have to account for greed. We want more.
I-
We want more. Instead of 2 million people buying, loving our songs, we want 4 million.
We want Britain and we want it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it finally an important territory to break, this one?
It
In
is.
Well,
terms
we
of
got to
pop
number
dreams
7
and all
this
that?
time. I don't know if you know
I
that,
didn't
but
know
we
that,
got
no.
to number 7 in the album charts here, which was
Debuted at number
phenomenal.
7.
Debuted at number 7
Did
I'm
it?
shocked.
in England.
When was
So
this?
this was only a couple of weeks back.
That's great.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a little bit written in the Irish press and in the Irish media about it, but I mean that was a
where's it
major
now? It's
hurdle
gone
for
back
us to
down?
cross. But it went down then, but we
Yeah,
haven't
so that's-
really been here. We're only here now, and so we're doing a load of stuff now to try and
Two big
boost
things,
it
like
again.
what Des is kind of today.
Des
is
is
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
we've
the
got the
last
lottery on the
yeah.
10th as well.
Alright.
We've got a couple of other major things coming up. We've
2
got a
sold
thing
out
with the,
gigs and
and we've got a thing coming up with the Pope, which is very big. In the
Pope.
Vatican, we fly
meeting
on
the
the
Pope.
17th. We're going
Alright.
to meet him.
Okay.
He's got an audience with us.
Yeah, I bet he has.
Yeah.
And does Bob Dylan want to see it too? Is Bob called?
No, we are seriously. We're meeting the
Okay.
Pope.
But in relation to, the way the seed of pop is America and Britain, no matter how popular
Yeah,
you
it
are
is.
everywhere else, how important is it to hit both those markets big time? To establish yourselves?
I think we understood as time went on. With the first album, we didn't quite understand how important they were. I mean, you can tour Australia till you're dead. I mean, no offense to Australia. You can tour Australia and certain other countries, you're dead. But if you don't get the bigger markets, it doesn't hit
Alright.
like MTV International everywhere where you become an established major artist. And musically, if you want to do that, that's fantastic. If that's what you wanted to do. But for us, I think we really, really want to crack those markets because we want to get everywhere, and it's just something
Right.
that we really.
Yes, in
They're hungry for.
breaking America, England and Germany, you'll benefit from the domino effect, and a lot of other countries will fall naturally.
Alright.
after that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it makes your work.
And what's the
It was your
hierarchy?
best.
America, Germany, Britain?
Biggest market is America, second is Germany, third is third is Japan or England, whatever, one of those.
Alright. But you're successful in Japan, or are you?
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
gold
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We went gold.
Yeah, I mean that's a big
And we
market.
just went gold in England as well on our first album. We just gone silver on the second one. So I mean, we're doing well here.
It's more like a goal you set for yourself. It's more like a challenge. Can you get it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you get England? Can you get America? So it's like the ultimate challenge for a band, I think.
And what point do you just pinch yourselves and go, Dundalk family, look at us?
At what
Have
point?
you stopped that? Have you stopped doing that?
What?
Remember you said that when you were in LA or something, you couldn't go, Jesus.
Every day still.
You still do that?
Every day still.
Like we're here.
Yeah.
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 You're taking it for granted. Do you take it for granted?
What?
This journey, the journey you've done over the past number of
I
years.
think this. You got.
Or has it just become a job?
The honeymoon period is
Alright.
like the first album. Now it's
Okay.
down to serious hard work.
Alright.
And it's like we because we've done to a certain extent a lot of this before, the interviews and all of that, it's not a question of the novelty factor still being evident,
Right.
except in varying degrees you still get that. For instance, getting to number 7 in the English chart, then it's like, well, you pinch
Yeah,
yourself then and
yeah,
say, Christ,
okay.
is this true?
Okay.
And
But
but
they're only moments.
they're only moments now.
Alright.
There are moments, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, I would get it when the three of us are standing in front of the mirror out there doing our makeup going, what are we doing?
So do I,
Hello?
yeah, completely.
What are you lot doing here?
What do you
What's
mean?
going on?
What are we doing?
Well, here we are putting on loads of makeup for stage, and I'm going, and we're getting into our stage clothes and discussing chart positions or something like that. I'm going, what are we doing? This is crazy. Because you remember yourself as a kid not
Alright.
doing any of this. And then the other day in Pamplona, we walked into this huge arena. We realised we're playing here.
You
We used to do support. We used to do support to Celine Dion,
Oh yeah.
and we used to support her doing those.
Yeah, that gave me a
gigs.
kick.
Well,
Now
where's this
absolutely.
Spain?
This
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
it's
A huge
It's
venue.
big.
It was a 5,000 seater.
Yeah.
We
Alright.
thought you were doing that there.
When you walk onto that stage for sound check, you just go, no, I'll go.
And then you remember Whelan's in
You've got to
Dublin.
live up to that.
You
Alright.
remember Whelan's in Dublin, and it's just like,
Yeah, I said to John, I says, where's our Are we playing in our dressing room? That's somebody else's stage, obviously, you know. That's good.
Yeah.
That
No,
is.
you do.
I didn't mention that, isn't it? Wasn't the Whelans, the Kennedy Smith, and all that kind of that steamroll, the kind of wasn't that real?
That was the start. It really was. Well, she had the story behind that is, which you know, but obviously. The story behind that was we'd been playing in Whelans and Jean Kennedy Smith was invited along to the gig by Bill Whelan, who's a friend of ours, still is a very good friend, and she loved us and invited us out to play in Boston in the Kennedy Library for our then Taoiseach Albert Reynolds and the Kennedys, which we did. Had a ball and met with a load of record companies in Los Angeles and in New York, and it was in New York then that we got the chance to meet David Foster, and that's
okay. So do you send Jean Kennedy kids Christmas card and all that? New copies of CD?
Yeah, and she sends well.
Yeah, we actually do give her a new copy of the CD. Yeah.
So, but that was a happy set of circumstances that helped things move really quickly and come into focus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It did. Boosted it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, rather than kind
Well,
of.
we wouldn't have been in the States in those few months otherwise. We wouldn't have been in, you know, we wouldn't have had the funds
All right.
or anything to get over to the States. I mean, once Jean Kennedy Smith said you're coming over, and it was a charity gig we were going over to do, John rallied around and got the funds. We went over. And once you're there, then you go and you meet the record companies, you know. To get over the Atlantic in the first place is very difficult.
All right.
And we stayed in somebody's house and slept on their floor the whole time.
Yeah. And you don't anymore?
No. Thanks be God.
Okay, simple, silly question. How many of you are married?
None.
None.
Lars?
Married.
No, we're not married.
How many are in relationships?
I am.
You are. You are.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, that's two. You are.
No.
You are.
Not.
So two are, that's the male want to know. Two in relationships, two not.
Yeah.
Any more information I don't want.
That's cool.
No, I don't. No, I don't. You know, God, especially. You wouldn't give it to the Irish readers and you give it to the English. Fuck off. Even if I knew, I wouldn't fucking tell. Okay. John, how old are you? You didn't say.
27.
Oh, yeah, I know how old you are. Okay, that's all. You can go. That's fine enough for me.
Great job.
Thanks, Joe.
Is there anything you'd like to get across? Now, the mail, it's a big readership. Is there any particular thing that you think you would, use me? You know,
Well, I
if
mean, I
there's something
suppose-
you'd really like, remembering the audience we're playing to, and also it's not a music audience, it's a family-based magazine, you know, so if there's anything you want to say, that you can get
Well, I
straight out
suppose
there.
really how well we've done, Joe, is always a good thing, you know. I mean, I suppose,
Oh yeah, I'm going to quote
you know,
on
the
that
2
one.
million albums, and we
Yeah.
just won the Amigo Awards in Spain for Best International Album. We were up against Oasis.
Oh no, I didn't know this. Tell me this. When was this?
This
Just
is last
week.
week.
See, I'm out of touch with it. Nobody sent me any
Yeah,
faxes on
it's
this
a
one.
major award in Spain. It's like
Alright.
you know, we won best international
International
album,
album.
beating
U2.
Celine Dion, U2,
Oasis.
and
and
Spice Girls.
no, not Spice Girls.
No, there's wasn't up for that time.
That wouldn't even be.
They were in for another category. The other band was the
Never mind.
Texas.
Anyway.
Texas.
Oh, Texas. All right.
Texas. Yeah.
Okay. So things like that are important.
Things like that. We've just gone platinum in Spain and stuff like that, you know. So it's, and we got gold in the first album here just last week.
Okay. No, the number 7 debut was pretty hot stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay. And was it wonderful to play with Desert Con? Have you done it yet?
We just did it this afternoon.
Did you do it this morning? Was it recorded this morning?
Yeah.
Janet Jackson was on as well, we saw.
Yeah.
We saw
Yeah.
a person, yeah.
Must be getting boring meeting all these people, Janet.
We
We
didn't
didn't
meet
meet
her.
her. You
Oh,
don't
it's
meet
not me.
She's
Oh,
got
that's true.
6 or
She's-
7
yeah,
bodyguards
Yeah,
around her.
you'd never see her.
You mean she didn't get to meet ye?
Yeah.
Exactly.
As with the Pope. Let's keep the balance here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so but was that? I mean, Desert Connor's deeply loved by readers of this magazine.
We did Desert Connor before.
Oh, did you?
We did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did Runaway on it last year.
All right. Okay. All right. Sinead,
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. You're coming, aren't you?
to the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've better things to do.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again. I thank you for listening to this edition of the Joe Jackson Interviews podcast. More can be heard on my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com.